Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Fatmata and this is Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art. I wanted to pop on to do an update. We haven't had sort of a sewing catch up in a while, in over a month actually, and I just wanted to hop on to let you know that I am here. Things have been busy. Since the last time we did a sewing catch-up sort of video, I've traveled for work, I've been back, I had my birthday, and work has picked up. The school year has begun. I work in a school and my children have also started the second and first grades, so things have been quite busy on all fronts. So I'm excited to have a moment where I could just let you know what's been going on. I had such big plans for my summer sewing, and I will link to my summer plans video up above, but I was thrilled with the fabrics that I had selected, feeling really good, and the last time we spoke had actually started making some decent progress on a couple of those projects. I feel like things took an absolute halt. The only thing I really worked on from my summer plans since that last video was the sherbet striped dress. This is made out of a rayon jacquard fabric that I picked up at Mood Fabrics about 3 or so years ago, and I used the pattern McCall's 8147 as the base and actually elongated it to turn it into a full-length dress. I was really proud to share this make with you all, and I had so many lovely comments on the video where I shared this with you, including my hack for that invisible zipper here in the back of the raglan sleeve. It allowed me to cut both the front and back pieces of this fabric on the fold, which I really wanted to do so that I would not interrupt the stripes on either side. I was really proud of my side panels where all of those stripes matched up so beautifully, and all I needed to do was hem it. It came to one of the last weekends in July. I was actually going to one of my cousin's baby showers, and I was like, this would be a fabulous baby shower dress, and I rushed to hem a bias cut dress on my own, without assistance, laying it flat on the floor, eyeballing it. I wore it. Figured I need a couple of inches off the bottom, and instead of putting a pin in it and seeing where it actually fell, measure twice, cut once, I went for it. With a rotary cutter in hand, just took off the bit at the bottom end. I ended up cutting the fabric along the side edges too short. I feel like you can even see it here, even the way I'm holding it. So if I go ahead and hold this fabric out, you can see it sort of like curves up. So when I stand, the dress that had so much excess fabric at the bottom, I wanted it to be maxi. I felt like the drama of having this hit the floor, even with a short heel, would be so exquisite. When I was trying to level it off to hem it, I scooped it up at the ends, which I should not have done, and I took off too much at the side seams. I was really disappointed. All I did was go ahead and serge the ends, so I haven't properly finished it. I did end up wearing it to the baby shower, but I was self-conscious about it the whole time. When I would sit, you can sort of see the lining peeking through at the bottom there. So I was quite disappointed that I had made this beautiful dress and then ruined it at the very end. Then when I was at the party, there was this chair that I was sitting next to with my children, and it had like a brass embellishment that was flaking and peeling off, and then it just caught on the fabric here, so it started pulling the threads on the fabric in multiple areas, and I started noticing a bit of damage to the fabric. I've washed this since I've worn it. I have not tried it back on, but I will figure out how to properly level it off. Probably wait until I have assistance. Maybe if I go to my best friend's place, we'll properly level it off. It might end up having to be just a bit shorter than I would have liked, but I am eager to have like a proper finish to the hem of this dress so that I can put it away for next spring, maybe wear it a few more times before the season really changes. But I'm proud of everything that I learned in this garment. It was not intended to be a wearable toile, but right now, given those minor setbacks, it does feel like this is more of like, oh, proof of concept garment. of course, that I will love and wear for as long as I can. But I do have some fabrics in my stash that I think would make a lovely fall version of this dress, and I'm really excited to explore that. Then in that last week, I actually spent a morning sitting outside on the deck and just unpicking a bunch of projects that I hope to work on possibly throughout the autumn, winter. And these are refashions, upcycles, and mending projects that I want to spend some time on. And I look forward to putting out a video with those particular garments in the near future. But that was a really lovely way to spend a morning. And I just sat outside and was going to town with my, seam ripper and scissors. And I think if I fix the garments, the ones that I set aside, I'll be really happy with the completed pieces. So excited to work on those. Early August came Project G Street, and that would have been the last video you've seen from me, was my team's recap of our Project G Street experience, which was a project runway style competition. One day at the Montgomery County Fair, I was in the team Sisters in Thread with the lovely Tashana and Auset, and I was so delighted with our partnership and our garment. The theme was from costume to couture, and we chose to depict a queen. So we had a 4-piece ensemble that I got to model for us on that day, and we were so excited to bring home the first place prize, which was exciting. We did win a gift card to G Street, and we were able to go and spend that this morning, so you can look forward to a fabric haul from me in the near future as well. At Project G Street, and it was fabulous. I got to see Mari from Mari Sews, Christine from Christine Sews a Lot. I got to meet Michelle from Michelle Sews Again. It was so lovely to see those ladies, and they created a fabulous garment as well. And it was lovely to see them in person. I just wish we had more time to actually spend together. I felt like I saw them, but then we didn't really get to spend enough time. So it was lovely to meet you ladies if you're watching, and I wish we can do it again sometime and have some proper sitting together time. Outside of that, the very next day after Project G Street, I actually went on a trip for work. I was up in Boston, and it was fabulous. I had the most amazing time in Boston. I had not been to Boston. It has to be over 20 years, and the city was just wonderful. The weather was a lot warmer than I thought. I definitely did not pack appropriately for that weather, but I had a blast. I walked a ton. I was visiting a lot of colleges out there, but was walking in between, walking around the campuses. So it was lovely to just have that freedom and time in a new city, and that was really exciting. I did stop by a fabric store while I was out there on one of the evenings. It was called Sophisticated, and I didn't buy any fabric, but I did just have a little mosey around there because it was next to one of the colleges I was visiting. And yeah, I showed a lot of restraint, but there wasn't anything that particularly jumped out at me, but I will leave the information down below if you happen to be in that area and want to go check it out for yourself. I did visit a store called Gretta Luxe, again, next to another college I was visiting, and it had so many designer pieces. On the day that I actually walked in there, there was a pop-up shop for Ulla Johnson, which is one of the designers that I absolutely adore. Her garments, they're whimsical, feminine, textured, a lot of ruffles, tons of details, amazing prints. It was so lovely to get to see some of these designer pieces in person and seeing the luxe fabrics and the seam finishes and taking a peek at the inside. I wish that I wasn't as shy recording in public, but I wanted to sort of document so many of the pieces from Ulla Johnson. So many Zimmerman pieces were there, Stella McCartney, and a ton of others. And I just felt so shy to do that. So I have a quick B-roll of me trying to like pan around the back of the store, but I couldn't bring myself to actually like document fully. There was this one Zimmerman dress, however, made out of this navy silk that was so beautiful. It's a raglan cut, and they actually did some smocking detail potentially in the front. It has like these tucks that added some beautiful texture to it. And I'm actually thinking to myself, like, is there a way I could recreate something similar to that, if not the same? But I absolutely enjoyed spending that, you know, bit of time in the store before I caught my train to my next destination. It was nice to kind of see those luxury pieces in person and get that boost of inspiration. Then in August, I also got a new nephew. It is so exciting. My older brother and his wife just welcomed a new baby boy into the family. We have birthdays very close together, which is exciting, but it was so sweet. So we have that sort of excitement in the family at this time. And then shortly thereafter was my birthday weekend. And for my birthday, my husband and I went out to New York actually for a small like cruise around the Hudson River, and it was an all-white party. But for women, we had sort of like, it was a suggestion more than, you know, the sort of uniform. So I wanted to, of course, make myself a birthday dress. As I was looking through my fabrics, I didn't quite have a white piece of fabric that screamed birthday to me. But I did remember a fabric that my best friend had in her collection, a mesh fabric that had a white base but had a beautiful swirl of color, this one here. I was thinking about running to the fabric store the day before my birthday on Friday to go and see if I would, you know, luck up on something. And then I was calling her and I was like, you know, another fabric that I had in mind is that mesh that you have in your collection actually. And she was like, just come here and get it. So that was fabulous. So I went ahead and picked up this mesh fabric from her stash, as well as a beautiful white knit fabric that is the lining for this dress. Here is a cut of that gorgeous mesh fabric with this marbled print on it that I absolutely adored. It had some of these rust chocolate browns and that pop of teal in there, and the silkiest sort of lining material that's also a stretch in this ivory. So I picked up those two fabrics and came home. We were brainstorming while we were together. There was this Stella McCartney dress that I tried on at Gretta Luxe while I was in Boston that I could not get out of my mind. I will see if I can pop an image of that dress up here. But it made me want to try something out that would sort of have a drape in the back. Alas, we decided that because of how fluid this mesh was, it wouldn't really hold the structure of that shape that I had seen in the Stella McCartney dress. So instead, we had talked through a number of ideas. I got home that Friday, after dropping the kids off at my parents' house, which was such a blessing, and had the evening to myself. Mind you, it was after 9 p.m., so I was sitting there exhausted from the week, thinking to myself, we have to actually drive a 4-hour drive to New York tomorrow on Saturday on my birthday. And how in the world or when was I actually planning to make this dress? I had to sleep on it, to be honest. I had nothing left in my energy to give, but I woke up that morning on my birthday, August 23rd, determined. I had finally settled on a design. We're going to sort of play with the asymmetry. I was going to do a ruched sleeve on one side of this dress and then a really big sort of cascading bat wing sleeve, if you will, on the other side. I wanted ruching in the center. So I went with McCall's 8064, my tried and true knit pattern of dreams. When I say that this is the loosest use of this pattern, I sort of laid the pattern piece so that I knew how to cut out the side seam. Because I wanted ruching, I had to sort of elongate the middle section. For the side seam here, I just left the fabric so that I would not have to create a shoulder seam. So it's just the fabric sort of folded over. I believe there was about 4 yards of this fabric, if I'm not mistaken. So I just folded it over on itself to get the length of the dress. and cut out the neck hole where I needed it. I used the McCall's sleeve pattern, but again extended it at the bottom so that I could add elastic in it to create the ruching effect here. I wanted to make sure that it was quite fitted and that it would sort of get that gathered effect on the sleeve. I cut out 2 layers of the mesh fabric to make the sleeve and cut them both to the same sort of long length and added the elastic in there. However, in hindsight, what I probably should have done is cut the inner sleeve regularly to its regular length and then ruche the outer sleeve and attach them so that when I'm going to put the sleeve on, it sort of stays in place. Right now, I'm having to sort of gather the sleeve up the whole way as I'm putting it on, but that is fine. I created a channel here on the opposite side where I fed a 1/4 inch elastic through just in the sort of midriff section near the bust out towards the hip so that I would have that ruching effect there. So the dress is fully lined, and here where we have the sort of bat wing section, I did want there to be lining. I did cut out a sleeve for myself in the lining so that I could also attach it where the cuff is on the outside. So it feels really comfortable on the inside. It, you know, I feel covered and all of that. So I love this dress, and I'm very, very proud that I was able to make it in a morning. The one thing that I'm also still trying to work out is how to make sure that the lining doesn't show through on the front. Luckily, it's in that ivory color, so close enough. I did top stitch the back section here just to make sure it didn't flip over, but in the front, what I ended up doing on that day was just picking up a bit of the fabric and sort of pinning it so that it naturally wanted to fold over. So I might go and do that maybe with a little permanent stitch there. But that was my birthday dress. I felt absolutely fabulous in it and had a wonderful time on our little boat cruise, so that was nice. It was just about all of the sewing I think that I got done in August outside of Project G Street and toiling that. But in the past week or so, I have wanted to sew here and there. So I was able to revisit some of my summer projects. The first thing that I worked on was this tan dress. And this is McCall's 7122. It is view D right here, the long version. It's not done yet. I still haven't added the neckband. I think it is wide for me. I can't remember exactly what size I cut, but because this is a really stretchy rib knit, maybe I should have pressed it out a bit more before cutting it out, but it definitely has a lot of excess space. So I just have to decide if I want to bring it in and all of that. But this has at least been started. I think I just wanted to feel like I could sew something. So I went ahead and cut this out and started putting it together. I did not have my iron down here, so I wasn't pressing as I went along. I am someone who likes to press my garments, even knits, as I'm sewing. So it really needs a good press, in my opinion. So I need to work on this, but it is started. And this is supposed to be worn under my tablecloth dress. The other thing that I worked on is Simplicity S9756, the trousers, view B. And I'm making it out of this viscose fabric. It also needs the waistband, the elastic, and hemming. I'm using this amazing trim, so I made sure to do that. And I also made a slant pocket on this pattern. It's originally a side seam pocket. So I'm testing that out and excited to get these finished up soon as well. The last thing that I want to talk about are just some shifts that I'm making in my summer plans. I'll let you know what I think I will actually try and finish and what I'm just moving aside and might revisit next year. I still want to finish my daughter's dress. I picked out this vintage girl's dress, and I was using the offcuts from my Zimmerman inspired dress that I made, and I wanted to make a sort of a mommy and me set. I still want to get this done. I still think she can wear it. I had cut out 2 blouses using this vintage pattern, McCall's 9358. And I've made this before. It's my silk tiger shirt, but I cut it out of that same viscose that I'm making the trousers out of, and a white tablecloth with some beautiful embroidery on there. Because they're already cut out, I would like to finish sewing these up. Finally, my tablecloth dress. I haven't had a chance to work on it at all since basting all the pieces together and the update that I gave you at the end of July. So I do hope to find some time to work on it because I would like to finish it, especially since I'm working on the underdress for it already. So that brings me to all of the projects that I don't think I'm going to work on this year, and that I will be putting the fabric back in my fabric stash. And these are all of the double gauze fabrics that I brought out to make like pool cover-ups for my kids. We don't need that anymore. I think I'm gonna put away the Ulla Johnson inspired skirt. These are Ankara fabrics that I had a bunch of flounce pieces that I had cut out years ago. I don't know that I have the energy to even try and figure that out at this time. I've actually changed the fabric that I want to make my family's matching ensemble out of. So I am going to put this cobalt blue broderie anglaise fabric back, as well as the coordinating fabric, and these 2 white eyelet fabrics. One I was going to make a shirt out of. I was going to make a skirt out of this bed skirting, but again, I think that I have other projects for the fall, winter that I'm more excited to work on, and I think seasonally those are just not appropriate at this time. So I am going to pivot. So those are the things that I'm no longer moving forward with for this season, but the plans I think were still great, and I look forward to revisiting them in years to come. I have some mending things that will be coming up soon, and also some fall plans. I've pulled some fall fabrics, so you can look forward to seeing that, as well as a fabric haul. It was lovely to chat with you. Stay creative, my friends. Bye-bye.